Welcome to episode 89, Identification and Authentication, Organizational Users, IA-2, where we anchor how people prove who they are before systems let them act. Identification names the user. Authentication proves that the claimed identity is genuine. The control expects consistent, strong, and recorded methods so that access rests on confidence, not guesswork. Think of a help desk analyst logging into a console that manages customer data. The username identifies, and a phishing-resistant factor confirms authenticity. Without both, the door stands ajar. Strong identification and authentication shrink the path for imposters, reduce mistakes, and create clean audit trails that connect actions to real people. Trust begins here. Extending that idea, use strength tiers so that privileged accounts meet stricter assurance than basic ones. Not every function needs the same wall height, but administrator and financial roles do. Define low, moderate, and high assurance with clear criteria. Then map roles to tiers so decisions become routine rather than negotiated. A service desk agent resetting passwords may need multi-factor, while a domain admin needs phishing-resistant multi-factor plus a managed device check. Document the mapping so audits see logic, not improvisation. Tiering focuses investment where harm would be largest, aligning friction with impact. More power, more proof. Simple rule. With tiers in place, disable defaults and rename well-known accounts to remove easy targets. Factory credentials and common names like admin or guest invite scripted attacks and noisy scans. A micro-example helps. A lab server shipped with a vendor account that remains enabled during testing can become the foothold an attacker needs months later. Replace or retire these accounts on day one and record the change. Where names cannot change, wrap them with extra checks and alerts so attempts stand out. Default access is not convenience, it is exposure. Remove the predictable paths first and force attackers to work harder. From that baseline, bind authenticators to verified identities so tokens and devices cannot drift from their rightful owners. During binding, confirm the person's identity with trusted records, then attach the authenticator, hardware key, passkey, or approved app to that identity in the directory. Record serials, key handles, and issuance dates. If a badge or phone is replaced, unbind the old factor before adding the new one. A short scenario shows why. If a developer lends a key to a teammate for the day, the audit trail breaks and risk rises. Binding makes every login traceable to someone you truly know. It keeps trust personal. In parallel, make enrollment, identity proofing, and recovery secure from the start. Enrollment must check who the person is with documents or authoritative data, not just email replies. Recovery must resist social tricks by requiring multiple independent proofs or in-person verification for high-risk roles. Picture a frantic call claiming a lost phone and an urgent need for admin access. The process should slow the request until proof meets the right bar. Publish the steps so users know what to expect and can prepare ahead of time. Strong recovery protects weak moments. It turns panic into a controlled path. Moving outward requires step-up assurance for remote access where risks are higher. Off-site sessions face untrusted networks, shared spaces, and unknown devices, so demand stronger checks when location, device health, or request sensitivity suggests danger. A manager approving a large change from a hotel Wi-Fi should face a phishing-resistant prompt and possibly a managed device requirement. Step up is not punishment, it is context applied to trust. When conditions worsen, proof rises. When they improve, friction falls. This balance keeps usability intact while maintaining security where stakes are high. The right proof at the right moment works. Along the same line, set session limits and risk-based re-authentication so access does not last forever. Idle timeouts, maximum session lifetimes, and re-prompts for sensitive actions curb token theft and shoulder surfing. Consider an accounting clerk who steps away without locking the screen. A shorter idle timeout reduces exposure, and re-authentication before exporting records adds a final break. Tune limits by role and system importance rather than applying a single value everywhere. When sessions end predictably and sensitive actions ask again, stolen minutes do less harm. Short windows, clear rules, and targeted prompts make sessions safer. Meanwhile, monitor unsuccessful attempts and lockouts to separate mistakes from attacks. A few typos happen. Waves of failures from unusual sources suggest brute force or credential stuffing. Alert when thresholds are crossed, throttle responses, and guide genuine users to safe recovery steps. For instance, multiple failures on a senior admin account outside business hours should trigger both lockout and an on-call review. Logs should show source, time, and method tried, so investigations move quickly. Monitoring is not only detection, it is feedback that improves policy and training. Patterns tell stories. Listen carefully, then adjust. To prove all this works, keep evidence such as enrollment logs and binding records that show who received which authenticators and when. Store issuance details, revocations, and recovery events with timestamps and approvers. Link each user to their active factors so support can validate claims and auditors can trace decisions. A small example. When an audit asks who approved a network admin's second passkey, the record should appear in seconds with the exact date and reason. Evidence turns memory into fact. It also accelerates support because answers are already written down. Proof reduces debate. Of course, there will be exceptions and temporary bypasses, but govern them tightly. Require documented approval, clear scope, and short expiration, plus compensating checks like extra logging or limited network reach. If a legacy system cannot support modern factors, fence it with a jump host and record every session until replacement. Close exceptions on schedule and review overdue cases weekly so nothing becomes permanent by neglect. Transparency keeps special paths from turning into backdoors. Exceptions should feel rare, deliberate, and visible, not casual favors that spread quietly. Time-bound, or it is not an exception. To keep the program honest, track metrics like authenticator coverage, failed login rates, lockout trends, and recovery times. Coverage shows reach across user groups. Failures and lockouts show user friction and attacker pressure. Recovery time shows resilience under stress. For example, raising phishing-resistant coverage for admins from half to nearly all should correlate with fewer suspicious prompts and cleaner incident trends. Share metrics in plain language so leaders see risk moving down, not just numbers moving around. Metrics guide tuning and justify investment. Measured controls become managed controls, and managed controls improve. In closing, strong and universal user authentication makes access reliable because proof is both hard to fake and easy to verify. The control sets a simple rhythm: identify, authenticate, record, and review, with higher proof where risk is higher. When phishing-resistant factors, clear tiers, safe recovery, and step-up checks work together, attackers meet real resistance and honest users meet clear paths. Authentication stops being a hurdle and becomes a promise kept. Only the right person gains the right access at the right time. That is the standard a modern program must meet, and it is within reach when discipline meets design. Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit baremetalcyber.com.